Hey everybody, Some Gadget Guy here, and I got a ton of mail on my Galaxy Note 4 review, most of it handwritten letters, oddly enough, from folks who were upset about the Note's screen size.
But Gadget Guy, I would totally buy the Note 4, but the screen is just way too small.
Well, for you folks who want the biggest possible Samsung you can buy, today we are looking at the Galaxy Mega 2 on AT&T. And a size comparison probably is the best place to start with the Mega 2. This is the Galaxy Note 4, obviously. This is the Mega 2, and as a reference point, here is the Galaxy S5. The Note has a 5.7-inch screen, the Mega steps up to a 6-inch screen, and of course the Galaxy S5 has a 5.1-inch screen. And that really is the Mega's claim to fame. The rest of the specs on board plant this firmly into mid-ranger territory. From the 720p resolution to the Qualcomm 400 series quad-core, and we already have speaker and camera reviews on this beast, so you can already look those up on our channel as well. Walking around the build and design of this beast, the Mega 2 has a very similar feel, in my opinion, to some of the older Galaxy players. If you remember the Galaxy Player 5, which was a standalone media player, the Mega 2 starts to feel a little like that. The plasticky edges running along the sides of the device, the sort of empty, hollow feel of the phone. This faux leather backplate makes a return, though I can't say I'm a fan of this fake stitching running along the sides. I was really happy they did away with it on the Galaxy Note 4. And of course we can peel off this backplate, get to the goodies inside, where we do have a memory card slot capable of supporting up to a 64 gig micro SD card and a 2800 milliamp hour battery. With these low power internals, that battery capacity is actually pretty solid, giving me about a day and a half of runtime under my sort of semi-moderate usage conditions and scenarios. And once we get into the phone, it's a pretty normal Samsung experience. It feels a lot like a Galaxy S3 if you ever played with one of those. Though with this Qualcomm 400 series processor, you do encounter that occasional lag or jank as you're moving through pieces of the UI, especially when you pull into the My Magazine and it starts trying to update. This has always been a laggy piece of software for me. And even with having it prepped, it still slows down the phone in that did it really register my swipe kind of way. The camera app's also gotten a nice little update, borrowing more design elements from the Galaxy S5 in Alpha. Really easy photo and video buttons allow us to shoot photos or jump right into video from the same composition window. We don't have to switch modes. And the gear icon takes us directly into camera settings, which are very helpful. I actually kind of wish that this was the setup we had on the Galaxy Note 4 instead of that secondary quick menu that then you have to tap into an additional menu to get into these features. And of course, it's really easy to add and remove things from the sidebar. For example, exposure value is something that I think is very important for our mobile photography. So it's one of those settings that I almost always leave docked on the side on a Samsung phone. And you can check out our real world video review on the Mega 2 camera just to see how it performs while shooting HD video. But I have to say the resolution on the screen hasn't really bothered me that much, as I'm also still a fan of phones like the LG G Flex, which offer the same 6-inch diagonal with 720p resolution. The Mega 2 isn't trying to be any kind of power user device as much as it is just making a statement that Samsung can bring larger screens down into lower price points. But maybe that's where I still have a problem with the Mega 2. In a vacuum, this is a perfectly acceptable experience. And this is where we need to talk about price, as the Galaxy Mega 2 is going to retail for $475 off contract. And this puts the Mega 2 into a somewhat awkward position. There are plenty of mid-rangers with very similar specs, very similar cameras, and very similar storage on board that can cut at least $80 off this price. And if we're looking at the screen size being the big attractive feature, it faces intense competition from phones like the Lumia 1320 on Cricket. Also a 6-inch diagonal display with a 720p resolution, slightly better outdoor viewability, it's a slightly brighter screen, bigger battery for even better runtime, and while it has less onboard storage, it'll also support a memory card so that you can add to it. And while the Mega's camera hardware is better, I prefer Nokia's software to run the camera better on the 1320. The Mega 2 is absolutely a better phone than the 1320. But at its most expensive, the 1320 is still gonna retail for under $300. And at the time this video was shot, it was actually on sale for $200. Is the Mega 2 2.5 times better than the 1320? I can't say that it is. And the Galaxy Mega once again forces me to get into my rant about mid-range phones. Mid-rangers are facing intense squeeze competition from entry-level devices that offer up almost as much good stuff for significantly less cash, and then intense competition from high-end devices that are maybe a year or two older. So my frustration with the Mega 2 isn't really with the phone itself, but largely the culture surrounding mid-range devices in the Android ecosystem. I absolutely do think there is a market for for the Mega 2, and I think that this is absolutely the right pick for some individual consumer out there. But mid-rangers always require me to tell you folks, you've gotta be a savvy shopper. You really wanna draw that list of pros and cons before you throw your money down on something in the mid-range. But of course, I always wanna hear from you folks out there, especially as my audience is a bit tech savvier than most. Is there a good fit for someone in your family on the Mega 2? Is this large screen size the right fit for a younger family member or maybe an elderly family member? Who in your circle of family or friends might this be the right solution for? I absolutely want to hear from you folks. Those are the kinds of discussions I love getting into. So as always, folks, thanks so much for watching my videos, subscribing to this channel, and I would not be able to continue producing videos like these if you folks weren't out there sharing them with your family, friends, and on social media. So I cannot thank you enough for bringing more cool people to the party. Hit that thumbs up button, and I will catch you all on the next review.